Another day in another world in pro wrestling, because today we have some AEW releases. Maybe Damage Control could be done, and we are going to get into that in today's video. Okay, so first up is Ronda Rousey. Now, Ronda Rousey has been out of WWE since 2023. She opted to leave once her second tenure was done. She did not resign. She went to AEW, did some few matches, and had another child. Congrats to her, Travis Brown. So there was a recent report by the Wrestling Observer of Bryan Alvarez, who noted that there is still interest on WWE's part to work with Ronda Rousey down the line. Keep in mind that she has had somewhat of a falling out with the company because it's weird. So when she did her autobiography, she did a bunch of media and she did a bunch of appearances and interviews in which she blasted John Laurinaitis, Vince McMahon, and WWE, Bruce Pritchard as well. And then she came out and she praised Triple H and Stephanie. And it's like, oh, they're great, yada, yada, yada. So there's this mixed back and forth. Now, the reason that Ronda's name has come up is because, of course, Shayna Baszler, she was released by WWE as part of the mass releases last week. And the idea being that, hey, if Ronda wants to work with WWE and WWE wants to work with Ronda again, is it possible that Shayna Baszler, who is very good friends with Ronda, part of the Four Horsewomen with Ronda, could she return to the company if Ronda returns to the company, right? Could Ronda make a push for her? Well, I think it's certainly that. Now, I want to note this. There is nothing from Alvarez, from any reputable media outlets right now that is stating that Ronda Rousey is returning to the company. There's no outlet saying that they're talking. It's just simply, and this really kicked up, hey, Ronda is someone that WWE would like to work with again. That doesn't mean that she's returning. I just want to make that very, very clear so it doesn't get missed. Okay, so next, Chelsea Green. Now, some of you may have noticed this, but Chelsea Green, our inaugural Women's United States Champion, she has re-signed with the company. Now, this report came out by Fightful on Monday. Now, her deal was not slated to end until the end of 2025. However, WWE clearly feels like we need her for longer. So we're going to lock her down to a deal. And this is notable because if you think about it, Chelsea Green, she's on her second tenure with the company. She's done extraordinarily great work, right? Now, she's had her ups and downs. She competed on Tough Enough in 2015, had an initial run in NXT, was called up to the main roster, got injured, and was ultimately released in 2021. Now, she returned in 2023 at the Royal Rumble. She went with her Karen S type gimmick, and it's done wonders for her. Whether it's in WWE, whether it's in TNA, MLW, any promotion in which she works for, she does amazing, amazing work. And I think this is another example that if you give her an opportunity, if you give her a character, the right feud, she can take it, extend it, run with it, build it, and make some really, really good magic with it. Now, she is a women's tag team champion. Obviously, her women's United States Championship run was notable. I think we are in the position now where people are starting to respect Chelsea Green. They're starting to understand how great this woman is. And with that feedback, with that support, I think we are on our road to getting her in a position where she can become a women's world champion within, I would say, the next calendar year. Because if you look at the way that they have positioned her, she's given opportunity. She's nailed that opportunity. And I think when the company feels rewarded by a talent, which is something that Chelsea Green has done, I think it is wonders for said talent and for the company. Therefore, the company wants to reward said talent. And I think that's where we're going with this. There were some AEW releases on Monday. The tag team known as the Righteous, which consists of Vincent and Dutch, they are no longer with All Elite Wrestling. So what happened was initially there was people noticing on social media, as they usually do, hey, these guys' profiles have been removed from AEW's website. What is going on? And then PW Insider initially came out and was like, all right, we noticed this, looking into this, and then they later came out and confirmed it. So the Righteous are done. Now, they were mostly used on the ROH brand, and I'll run down their statistics here. former ROH World Six-Man Tag Team Champions. They did so in 2021. They returned into the AEW umbrella in 2023. They were signed to AEW contracts. They were primarily used on the ROH brand. They made appearances here and there for the AEW brand, Collision, Rampage, etc. Right? They most notably challenged MJF for the ROH World Tag Team Championships in a handicap match at Wrestle Dream in 2023. They were briefly aligned with Lance Archer at one point. Then they teased an alliance with Elias, aka Elijah, earlier this year. But let's be real, these guys didn't do much. But I will say this, to their credit, every single opportunity that they were given, they try to do their very best. And I think as a talent, that's all you can do, right? You're not going to get creative perfect all the time. You're not going to get the right direction all the time. But if you can go out there and go, hey, give me an opportunity, I'm going to do the very best of my opportunity. I'm going to make the most of that opportunity. And I'm going to show you why I think you made a right decision with this opportunity. I think that's all you can ask for as a talent. And from a promotion, I think that's also a shared sentiment of like, hey, we need you to do this. Will you do this? Well, let's go and do this. And you just go on with that. But yeah, the Righteous are gone from AEW. Adios. See you later. No more. And they move on to the next chapter in their careers. Damage Control. So we have Io Sky, our women's world champion. We have Kairi Sane and Asuka, who are currently sidelined, but they're about to make their returns. We have Dakota Kai, who was released as part of the match releases last week. And of course, Bayley, she's off on her own. And Bryan Alvarez was talking about this on Wrestling Observer Live on Monday, talking about how he had been, not necessarily told, but he had heard that this faction is quote unquote done. It's not official. There's no internal memo saying, hey, Damage Control is done. It's nothing like that. But what it is stating is, hey, Io Sky's a big star. Dakota Kai's gone for the second time. Kairi Sane and Asuka, they could be returning as tag team players, but we don't know that for sure. I would think that makes the most sense. Look, Dakota Kai's release was very controversial. A lot of people did not agree with this cut. I do not agree with this cut. I think Dakota Kai is a wonderful talent. I think she's going to be someone who, out of all of the match releases, is going to be the first one to find as much work as possible. A lot of people point to, well, could she go to TNA? Well, she could. That would be a great fit. Could she go to AEW? Would Tony Khan sign her? I would say that's probably your best bet. I think AEW is overcrowded in general. I think they sign way too many talents. They don't know how to use talent properly because they have so much talent. So it's like, oh, well, we haven't used this star in 3 months. Let's bring them in for a program real quick and then we'll cycle them out. I don't think that's a great way to establish talent. So I would be concerned if I was Dakota Kai. And look, take this for what it is. But if you wanted my opinion, if I'm Dakota Kai, I absolutely go to AEW. I absolutely take the money. I absolutely take the opportunity. But I also sign it as a 1-year deal. That way, if you want out after a year, you got it. If you want to go back to WWE, or if WWE wants you back in a year, you are back in a year instead of 2, 3, 4, 5 year deals in which you are put on the sidelines if Tony Khan